Yeah. All right, let's start this thing. Welcome back to the Align Podcast. My name is Aaron Alexander. Typically, this is a place that we bring together the world's leading experts on all things health and wellness to help you all optimize your mind, body, and movement. But tonight, it is 8:53 p.m., and I am going to read you some stuff out of the Align Method book in regards to hanging. It is very simple to be mired by complex, expensive solutions to issues, big fancy machines and gizmos and whatnot. Hanging is something that our ancestors, if you believe in evolution, have been known for a long time. And even if you don't believe in evolution, we'll get into why it's still relevant for us today. Before that, I would like to read a Amazon review. I really appreciate you guys leaving reviews on Amazon for this podcast. It is what tells the algorithmic gods of Apple or whatever, Google, that people are listening to this and sharing it around. So greatly appreciate it. This one comes from Mrs. Cowpuncher with a Brain. I like that. She says, GOAT, G-O-A-T. I think that's like a basketball term. What does that mean? GOAT. It means something. It means something good, I think. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe not. I constantly refresh my screen each week waiting for this podcast to pop up. Aaron is so down to earth, open-minded, and intelligent. I genuinely love every episode and always take away something new each week. Thank you, Aaron. Heart emoji, much love. Emojis are powerful. So thanks so much. Leaving reviews. If you do, good chance we'll read that little thing on here. All right, I'm going to start off just actually reading a little passage from the book. This is the beginning of chapter 7, which gets into a little bit of the history of hanging. So a key distinction between human beings and other mammals is our capacity to walk upright on 2 feet. The story becomes extra interesting when you ask, what the heck were we doing before that? Our earliest ancestors are believed to have diverged from the common ancestors we share with chimpanzees between 6 and 13 million years ago. A frequently held belief is that climate change shifted our ape-like grandparents away from the safety of dwelling within the trees, covering much of Africa at the time, out into the savanna. Other researchers believe becoming bipedal helped our ancestors keep cool in the hot African sun. This would also explain why our ancestors lost the hair from most of their bodies, other than the parts that either help send olfactory smell signals to potential mates, like the genitals and armpits, or those that protect us from the sun, like the top of the head and eyebrows. That's right, your super cool haircut is likely more of an exaptation, which means a trait that has been co-opted for a use other than the one for which natural selection built it, evolved for either sun protection or warmth for your noggin. So that's pretty interesting, just the history or the idea that, first of all, that at some point perhaps your grandpa or grandma was a ape-like critter hanging out in trees. Could be very crazy. It's up to you, Adam and Eve, whatever you're into. Open to all things. Aliens, seems like pretty good potential as well. Watch Ancient Aliens. Man, highly recommend that. There is one episode in particular. Highly recommend you check out I think it's called The Underwater Worlds. And in there, it gets into a whole plethora of different underwater civilizations, kind of like Atlantis, but much more than just the lost city of Atlantis. There's like one outside of India. There's the Bermuda Triangle. There's one outside of Japan. There's one outside of, I think it was Greece as well. They're like all over the place. And the depth range from like 50 odd feet to like half a mile deep or 2,500 feet. And very fascinating. The technology that it would have taken to move those blocks and boulders and all that stuff is not that of just some hunter-gatherer, kind of the stories that we have of people. So it's very interesting to think, what is the story of our history? It could be vastly different than our belief system. This could have happened many, many times before, potentially. But anyways, separate subject. Next thing that's interesting in relation to the shoulder anatomy, if you are not into the evolution that perhaps we were apes at one point, let's just look at the shoulder girdle of human beings. And I'm going to take this is actually an excerpt that I had in the book, but an excerpt from John Gribben and Jeremy Cherfas in the book, The First Chimpanzee in Search of Human Origins. By contrast to monkeys, the collarbones of apes, and of course man, is longer and helps to keep the shoulder away from the chest. The shoulder is much freer and can move in all sorts of ways. It isn't much of an effort for you to scratch your right ear with your left hand from behind your head, but no monkey could do this. This cluster of adaptations that allows movement by arm swinging, or brachiation as it is called, is a property only of the apes: gibbons, orangutans, gorillas, chimpanzees, and men. So it's very fascinating that, I mean, in here he's relating it to apes and chimps and whatnot, which is fine. I know that some people's feathers will get ruffled about that. So regardless what your belief system is, our shoulders are more well equipped to hang or brachiate than monkeys. So like monkey bars is actually a misnomer. It should be human bars. I'll have like a challenge for you guys, by the way. I have actually homework about hanging. Next interesting thing that I included in that chapter is about callousing of your skin. I would highly recommend that when you are training, working out, doing yard work, whatever it may be, expose yourself to as much work without gloves as you comfortably can, because that literally strengthens that what's called the glabrous or smooth and hairless skin on your hands. So I'm going to read a little excerpt again out of the book here. The skin of your palms and feet, known as glabrous, smooth and hairless, rigid skin and or thick skin, is built for friction. The rough, calloused skin that shows up after activities like hanging is thought by many to be dead skin, but it's quite the opposite. It has increased circulation and the tissue has formed a cross-link pattern, making it more durable to protect against future damage. Spending time working with your hands essentially makes your hands smarter, stronger, and more dependable. So when you're thinking about your callousing of skin, that's literally an extension of the kinetic chain of your movement. So what that means is if you have so let's say you are picking up a heavy wheelbarrow or something like that, or a kettlebell, and your bicep is just complete, flaccid, soft, or maybe injured, busted, just doesn't function. It's like a broken link in the chain. When you're picking that up, even if your whole body is robust and strong and able, that bicep will shut down your ability to move that wheelbarrow. So you could think of your skin literally as being one of those links, a part of that kinetic equation of your movement. So if your skin is overly weak, then it will be the limiting factor in your capacity to do work. So when you are in a gym, think of strengthening your skin literally the same way that you would think of strengthening your pecs or your deltoids or your hips or whatever. It's very fascinating. I think we might be enough, hang. A big reason that hanging is so good is that it opens up a space called particularly the coracoacromial arch, the CA arch. So I'm going to read another little excerpt out of here. Hanging creates space within the CA arch, a curved structure in the shoulder that overlies the rotator cuff tendons and includes the coracoacromial ligament. Impingement here is very likely why you may find it painful or challenging to raise your arms straight above your head without swaying your low back forward, resulting in low back issues. That's right, your low back thing may actually be a shoulder thing or vice versa. Hanging stretches the CA arch, expanding the subacromial space, resulting in decompression of these tissues. Our shoulders get stiff and stuck in forward flexion, and regular hanging can not only relieve pain, but literally reshape your postural patterns, changing not only the way you look, but also the way you think and feel, as explained in the first chapter. So pretty powerful stuff. The final thing that I want to mention in here that is pretty daggone fascinating, you can hear me furiously changing pages in the background, is the value of grip strength. And so there has been some interesting research done connecting grip strength to cardiovascular health. So I'm just going to read that last little part and then we'll wrap this thing up. As a part of the International Prospective Urban and Rural Epidemiological PURE study, researchers calculated grip strength using a dynamometer for almost 140,000 people from 17 different countries and observed their health for an average of 4 years after. Here's where it gets creepy. They found each 11-pound decrease in grip strength to be associated with 17% higher risk of dying from heart disease, 9% higher risk of stroke, 7% higher risk of heart attack, and 16% higher risk of dying from any cause. Grip strength I'll say that again. Grip strength was an even better predictor of death or cardiovascular disease than blood pressure. That's ridiculous, isn't it? It turns out one of the key factors to being harder to kill is maintaining a grip on life. Dang, it's good stuff. Pretty interesting how these really simple solutions oftentimes have such high impact. So the simple act of getting a pull-up bar, will include a link to a pull-up bar that you can get in the show notes of this episode at alignpodcast.com. And something as simple as that, you walk through your doorway. Every time you walk through a bathroom or a bedroom or office, whatever, you jump up on that thing, you do a little swing. I recommend in the book you hang for a total of 90 seconds. So everybody try this week, post about it on Instagram, tag Align Podcast, ALIGN Podcast, or repost your stuff, likely, maybe, probably. And just get yourself hanging 90 seconds. And during that time, you are strengthening your grip. You are strengthening the skin, creating that healthy, well-circulated, cross-linking pattern and that glabrous skin of yours on your hands. You are reshaping the structure of your shoulder girdle, opening that space in the coracoacromial arch that we referred to previously. You are speaking back into your primordial roots, your ancestry, or whatever your belief is. Doesn't matter. You're also opening up space around your lungs, that space in the intercostal tissue and around the ribs. You're opening up space around your heart and your organs. You're literally decompressing all of that precious visceral or organ tissue. And then where it gets interesting is when you have a more stacked or aligned body from doing something as simple as this each day, 90 seconds, 10 days. It's a challenge. Do it. Then all of a sudden you stand more upright, which makes you project yourself to be more confident. And then people see you that way, and you also see yourself that way, and you feel that way. Then you have more energy because of your perception of yourself in part, and then also the function of your organs, the function of your central nervous system, your spine. Everything starts cooking, and then life starts coming together. So these subtle little seemingly trite, borderline meaningless changes of throwing up a pull-up bar between your office doorway and doing a little swing 6 times a day as you walk through really starts to aggregate, really starts to add up, really starts to change your life. So that's what the Align method is all about, is teaching people how we can start to stack some of these healthy variables in our favor so that your whole day becomes a mother flipping opportunity to cultivate your mind, body, and movement. All right, that's enough. Thanks so much for listening. And if you enjoyed this, share with friends. That's how this episode or this podcast grows. That's how it gets around. Tag something that you found to be extra interesting, and or tag me and post something that you found extra interesting, extra helpful. And I look forward to hearing your feedback for this thing. If you guys are interested in starting the Align Method online program, we are completely revamping that thing right now, which is very exciting. And you get a 7-day free trial. So you can start that thing, see how it works for you. If you love it, which I'm sure you guys will, then you'll receive the Align Band, which is a heavy-duty resistance band with a door anchor, traveling case, and a free instructional video guide on how to use it. And that's a pretty sweet deal, if I do say so myself. It's a combination of the Align Method book, the Align Method online program, the Align Band. It will absolutely change your life. It's one of the raddest presents you can get for any human being that you care about, including yourself. And I think that's it. Thanks for reviews. Thanks for buying the book. Thanks for telling your friends about this. Thanks for doing you. And I hope your shoulders are healthier because of this solo episode. Bye.